Awesome. Well, hi, Lou. Tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Lou Campbell. I'm in Duluth, Minnesota, and I've been here since 1969. And I've been involved with the music industry for close to 40 years. And it's great. And then about 20 years ago, I got a telephone call from a gentleman who was putting together an event and he wanted to know if I would be interested in helping to raise funds for it. And it turned out it was the Minnesota Citizens Council for Veterans. And I got to the meeting. It turned out it was a gay party where they introduced people and also asked for donations. And we talked about possibly putting on a an event called, and we initially called it the Tribute Fest, and that's the name that stuck with it. And it was all about bringing together bands that are cover bands. And the whole story ended up making me very sad. I cried actually when it was all said and done at the meeting because the reason that I ended up doing this was because of a lady who had joined the services, and eventually she got called over to the Middle East back in 20 years ago. And at that time, she was married, she had two children, and she was deployed, and she came back to Duluth area. And when she got back here, her husband left her, and she was without. She had just her income that she get from as being a veteran, and she had two children. She eventually lost the house. She couldn't afford to pay rent, and she ended up on the sofa of a friend. And finally, she asked for help. And one of the hardest things that a veteran has to do is ask for help. And this poor woman was homeless. She was living in her car when she finally asked for help. And I got together with some people from the Minnesota Citizens Council for Veterans. And next thing you know, 5 years later, I find out she has an education. I believe she's now a nurse. Her children are fantastic. I think she remarried, and everything is great in her life. And that's the story that brought me to putting together the tribute fest, which is an event we hold for the last 18 years to raise funds for homeless veterans. And I tried at one time to do this with national acts. It just costs too much. I had lost so much money putting the national acts on stages. It's a crazy business. So people ask me, they say, Lou, I'd love to get into the business, and the next words out of my mouth is, how much money do you want to lose? If you've got people who want to throw away money, God bless you. So we started the tribute bets. We started off doing a couple of days, and it turned out people enjoyed it. Now it's 2 days, August 28th and 29th. It's at Bayfront Festival Park in Duluth. I know it's the same start of the week of the state fair, but the state fair goes for 12 days. The tribute fest goes for 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and we keep it relatively inexpensive. We have tickets as low as $25 and as high as $250. But the biggest kick out of this whole thing is we're doing this to raise funds and awareness for what is happening with veterans in this country. And by the way, I'm not even an American. I'm a Canadian, and I think this is the greatest country in the world. And so, uh, with the, with that in mind, I thought, well, okay, I'll do whatever I can to help. And so it's been 18 years. We brought in some of the best tribute bands from around the country. They've come from New York, Chicago, Atlanta, California, just about everywhere. And it turns out that the Midwest has some amazing, talented bands that want to be part of the Tribute Fest. They come out. We are a whole different idea when it comes to putting on a festival. We want people to come up and have fun. We want people to leave their egos at the door, the bands especially. Mine, it's tough to leave at the door. But we have, you know, everyone comes up. They get treated like they should. You'll be surprised how fast the bands get in and out. We have an amazing support crew with the people from Stealth and our friend Lars Lasky, and we have some great people, and some volunteers who come in and help. And it's amazing. Uh, it it's always fun. It always rains, except the last year. It 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 rained. We had a band called it's a Lincoln Park tribute called the Hybrid Theory, an amazing band out of the cities.
Yeah, they're great.
They are just great. Yeah, they are amazing. And they come up here and they play on the big stage at Bayfront Festival Park. And it's huge stage, huge covered stage. And it's a monumental, it's a monument to Gino Palucci and his wife, the old pizza people from way back when, and Totino's or whatever it was. And we have two stages, another smaller stage, and then we have 20 bands over 2 days. And as soon as the music starts, it never stops until we're done at the end of the night. So on Friday, when it opens up at noon, I think the first band starts at 11 no 1 o'clock, and then it goes right to 10:30. And so once the 90-minute set is done on the main stage, the 30-minute set starts immediately. The timing is amazing. So it's just a fun event. There's VIP, there's ultimate VIP. The ultimate VIP is where you get your food, your suppers, I should say, which includes the fajita Friday and smoked prime rib on Sunday or Saturday. And then all your beverage liquor, all your beverages. You get the private bathrooms, the type that flush, and then you get to go on stage if you want. People love to be real close to the bands, and they are literally, a foot or two away from some of the bands. And being a stage that is 60 feet wide and 40 feet deep, there's you think there's a lot of space, but there really isn't. So these people love to be on the stage. They love to be part of what's happening, and that's part of what we do with the ultimate VIPs. And the VIPs also, and we give away VIPs. One of our sponsors gets a bunch of VIPs, and they give them away to veterans who get free tickets. Now, when it comes to the veterans, your tickets are absolutely free for you and your family. When you get there, if there's parking available, it's free of charge. You get inside the building or inside the park with your free ticket. Then you say, well, I'm thirsty. Well, you go over to the military cafe, and you can go in there and grab yourself a free pop, free water, some chips, some popcorn. And then a little later on, you say, gosh darn it, I'm hungry. Now you go back into the military cafe, and you can have anything from macaroni and cheese to it could be chicken, could be hamburgers, could be hot dogs, could be bratwurst. A company named Stokey's out of Ulbo, or here in Duluth, Stokey's Meats. They supply all of the food with help from some other companies. They supply all the food, and they cook it for us right there on site. And so,
So Lou, if I'm a veteran, Lou, if I'm a veteran, how do I prove my veteran status? Like, what do I need to bring as a veteran with me to the festivals to get in?
if most people have some sort of an ID indicating that they were a veteran, and their family gets in also. And
Oh,
his family is also get the medic or the military cafe. It is imperative that when you get there, you're not nervous and worried. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to pay because I forgot my ID. That's not how we work. If you tell us you were military, we're going to believe you. You know, this is about the veterans. If you have to lie about it, that's okay with us. We want people to come in there and enjoy the music, enjoy and get a little piece of what they had in the past. And it's all about the music when it comes to the stages. I ask the people to play nothing but hits, and the biggest thing that bothers the living daylights out of me is when they start talking. And we have a rule, and we say, you're on the stage for 90 minutes, and you said you were going to play 90 minutes of Billy Joel tribute songs. Then you're going to play 90 minutes of Billy Joel. You're not going to stand up there for 5 minutes and tell a story about Billy Joel or, and this all came about back about 6, 7 years ago when we had a band, a Beatles band out of the city, and they were really good. But they spent 10 minutes talking about George and Ringo and Paul and how they met in the church basement in Liverpool. And I said, these guys are never coming back. And so it was years later, I got a telephone call from them, and they said, how come we haven't come back? And I said, you wouldn't shut up. And they laughed. And eventually we brought them back. And because you don't want to sit there and listen every moment you're there, unless there's an issue with them having to change something, the music is going to be playing. And we have a large screen television that's there by Fire Up Video, and it's I think it's 10 by 20 or 12 by 24. It's huge. And you can watch things. Hopefully, you're not watching me when I'm on the stage saying too much. But there's so much to do. We have very little money when it comes to putting this thing on. I have to hustle every way that I can to do this for people. We buy equipment. We beg, borrow, and steal from people. We ask for any help that people can get. We ask people to buy us boxes of chips so that we can give it free of charge to the veterans. And so in fact, the Tribute Fest is based on a number of different things. Not only the veterans, but putting together a social group that enjoys music like this, and they just can't get enough of it. And they're as bad as me. They just want to be part of something that for some strange reason, you show up every year in the end of August and work 2 or 3 days and having some fun, and then all of a sudden it's all over. So got some great bands this year. Everything from Friday night, just on the main stage, we have starting at 1 o'clock, I should say. It's Elton John tribute, and then the Rock Gods, and they're huge out of the city. So Billy Joel tribute at 5, Skinner at 7. Now the Skinner group had been there for 18 years. They've been there since day one. We've watched their children grow up.
Wow.
We've watched them get married, have the new ones have the young ones who've grown up and have children, and we've watched the band go from the older people down to the younger people, and it's just absolutely amazing. Every year for 12 years now, they brought me 4 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese. So it's only because one year I was hungry and they had some, and I in their trailer, and I said, well, I'm more than happy to. I'll try some of that. Sure. Next thing you know, every year, and little things like that. And then they put on a great show, and then they invite me up on the stage to play guitar during one of their songs, and I reluctantly go up there and do my best to make it look like I know what I'm doing. In reality, I have no idea what I'm doing. My children are talented. I have no talent whatsoever. I'm just a person who has a focus on one thing, and then I'll do it. And then the end of the night, we have an Aerosmith Aerosmith is comes up, and these guys are absolutely amazing. These, if you got photographs of these people, you would think you were looking at something out of the 80s and the late 70s. The long hair and the way they're sweeping it back and forth, and it's
Mm.
just absolutely amazing. And then on Friday we have a secondary stage, which is only 30 minutes long. Each one of
Okay.
those gigs, so they don't have a lot of time to talk. And we have a Lenny Kravitz band coming, playing the end of the night. Local band or band of the city called Masters of Rock and Roll. And then the 80s Metallica at 6:30, and then we've got a duo playing at 4:30 with three people in it. And so it's always something strange. And then at 2:30 in the afternoon, we're bringing on this one kid who just plays rock and roll on his guitar for 30 minutes. And
Cool.
we want to give local people as much exposure as possible. And to be honest with you, the small stage is so much fun. You're within inches of the band, and
Sure.
you're that close. The main stage is 60 feet wide, 40 feet deep. We've got the sound system up front. We've got fencing there, and then you got seating for the VIP, and then you have a fenced-in area, and then the people who are on the outside of that. But up front for 30 minutes on the small stage, or what we call the Harbor Theater stage, it's just you're right there. And the music is right there. And these guys will reach down, the will reach down and shake your hand, and you're part of it. It's and I, for some of these guys, I don't understand why they want to be the main stage, but I understand the main stage is where you ultimately wish to be.
Mm.
And some of the guys, they don't want to be off the Harvard Theater stage. They like that. They like coming back every year. They say, "Hey, the whole idea of raising funds for homeless veterans is great." The Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans does a good job. And then we have Saturday, Dissident Pearl Jam. Oh, wait a second. Oh, no. If I'm not mentioned, Friday night is Stone Temple Pilot, not 80s Metallica. Metallica's Saturday. And then we've got a Pantera band, which is kind of interesting because it's a garage band out of Duluth, and they lost their singer. So they
Mm.
came to me and said, "Can we just do the music?" And I said, "Fantastic, something different." So a bunch of young kids who are 18 years old, and they're going to get on the stage, and then no one's going to sing, and they're just going to play. And I thought, okay, that's good. We don't mind that. It's something
That's fun.
different.
Let the
And then it
crowd
came
sing the lyrics.
and then they're doing Pantera. They're doing Pantera music. And then we have kind of Kinksy, which is Kinks music, and then another band that's starting out that they play a bunch of all different stuff. So almost every song that you hear is a song that you heard on the radio.
Nice.
And for 20 bands, you're going to be, wow, that wasn't bad. For $25, that was an amazing, amazing amount of talent that you got for $25. And some of these guys who are playing in these bands are as good, or they've played in national acts themselves. And they come up here, they take a cut and pay just so that they can play up here. And it's absolutely, Lou, it's not the money. Some of them even say, we don't want the money. Just give the money to the charity. But we are adamant that we have a minimum amount of money that we're going to pay you depending on the stage. And we understand what it takes to get up here. We know that the price of gas is not cheap. We know that hotels in Duluth are crazy. We know all kinds of things that can keep people from doing this, but they just want to help. They really, really want to help. And so in that respect, we have a group called the POWMIA balloon. It's a hot air balloon. And these guys come every year. Typically, they would charge to do something like this. This is a $5,000 thing. They call us up and say, we want to come there and give free rides in the hot air balloon to people who are at your event. And I'm, that's cool. Cool. So this has been like 6 or 7 years now that they've been doing this, and I'd say every couple of years it doesn't go up because it's either rainy or it's too windy, and
Mm.
so it it's just neat. It really is neat, and people donate $20 to get in there. I'm going, oh, wow, this is great. This is just one other revenue stream that, but there's only so many people that can get on there that over, in a 20-minute period. That's essentially what it takes for everybody to go up and then come back down.
Sure.
Forgot to mention Saturday's bands. It's a lot harder rock. And then we started with Hellion, a Seether tribute, and then a Cheap Trick tribute. Added the Cheap Trick just to change things for a little bit. And then Alice in Chains, Madman's Diary, an Aussie tribute coming out of Kansas City. And then to end the event, Lincoln Park Hybrid Theory. And they were on the main stage last year, and they got in 3 songs before a horrendous storm hit Duluth. It literally forced us off the stage and closed the event down. There was
Oh, man.
nothing we could do. And so Lincoln Park Hybrid Theory is coming back. We will have them back. They did such a great job. And all these band people are so nice. They're just so nice. There's there's no interest in hey, look, I'm the hottest guy here. I need people looking at me, shine the camera on me. That's not it. That's not it at all. Now, I've spent what 15 minutes talking and not having you say anything. I'm real sorry about that.
That's all right, Lou. You're telling the story, and that's what I'm here to hear.
Oh,
No worries there, man.
there's so many people who've been involved. I have a partner who's involved with this. His name is Mike Donahue, and his wife does all of the accounting course at the event, and we have other people, Ken and his wife. They help bar backing, and we have a gentleman named Martin Hintz, who is the OP bar here in town. He does all of the work when it comes to the bars, and that's just so many people help. But we are not a free. Um, we don't ask people to do anything for free. We ask people to volunteer and sit down and just take tickets and things like that. But when it comes to beg, borrow, and steal, you have to have the sound and lights. You have to have the food. You have to have the people who supply the insurance, the liquor, the beer, the police, the medical. There's this on and on. You have to rent the tents. And when you think that, well, Lou, we can do this for $10,000. No, it's $100,000 to
Hmm.
put on a show like this and to have it go for 2 days. It's not cheap. Someone will say, well, $100,000 for 2 days. Bah, $100,000 still is a lot. It's we're up here in Duluth, Minnesota. We're you never know what the weather's going to be with Lake Superior right next door to us. But we know that there are going to be some people here. We know that there are going to be some veterans who need to be fed and need to be able to get a pop and water and chips and popcorn and stuff like that. And there's oh, we we also have a support system that's there. MacV will have a setup with a number of different vendors. I call them vendors, but you're going to have people who are there from a legal standpoint. If you're a veteran and you have some legal issues, they're going to have somebody there who can talk with you. If you have some financial issues, banking type things, there's people who are going to be there. There's a lot of, I'd say maybe 8 or 10 different vendors there that are in support of the veterans. Other than having a good time and listening to great music, they're there to support our veterans who might have fallen through the cracks. And this is being a Canadian and loving this country and loving the service. My dad was a Canadian Air Force when he had a He was down here as his last transfer before he retired. So I stuck around and ended up marrying a lovely lady, and that's we've been 51 years now. So we have we love Duluth. We love this country. Uh, we love trying to help veterans. We'd love for people to say, "Hey, Lou, how can we help you?" We'd love for people to call us up or go to our website and say, "Hey, we've got some stuff we'd like to donate. How do we
And
get it?"
we'll take that website URL and or your phone number, put it right here on the video right about this point. So when people are searching, they know exactly where to go. So Lou, what does it take? What does it take to put something like this together? You already said it's $100,000, which I don't think most of us are running around with that in our back pocket. So the financial piece is big, but then what happens after this festival ends and you start thinking about next year? Like, what's the whole ramp? What's the whole series of events that happen to put it together?
Well, as soon as it's done, I start getting telephone calls and emails and texts from bands that want to play next year, and uh, I keep a list of people who've played and who've done well and people who enjoy. And then uh, I just hold on to that, and people keep bothering me until I make a decision. And typically, the decision doesn't come about until we get into the new year. But I love when people are aggressive and say, "Hey, look, we can do this. We can do this. We're a great band. I think you'll love what we do. Um, I know we got $5,000 or $10,000 to play. We want to be part of your event. Can we work out some sort of a deal?" And I go, Absolutely. It, yeah, we give everyone a shot. We have no problem with that. If your band is not very good, there's a chance you might not be coming back. There's a very good chance you're not coming back. But uh, so along with that, it's fundraising, getting. We don't get a lot of money when it comes to the sponsorships. We get some, and that's always nice. It helps, keep the costs down, and we try and keep our costs down. $100,000 is a very small amount to put on a 2-day event in the long run. When you consider we have to pay $8,000 to rent the park, and another 15,000 plus for sound and lights and police support, and it's on and on and on. And so, to do this, can you do it all in a weekend and then say, "Hey, I've arranged for all of the talent, I've arranged for all of the printing, I've arranged for everything." It's a lot of other things. It's yes, I probably could do it all in a weekend, but uh, it needs to be let out and see what happens. Let's throw the paint up against the wall and see what it looks like when it's done. It's either going to be my grandchildren's art or something from Picasso. But in the long run, it does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of, I have to talk to an awful lot of people. I have to keep up relationships all year long with people down at Bayfront, other vendors who come up here, First Ave, who comes up, Stealth. There's so many different companies that use our services, and it's all something that helps us gain some more income for what it is that we do for the Tribute Fest. So, and then, we really, it's we really, really, really want to do everything that we can. I'd love to be able to say I raise $100,000 for our event for the veterans, and I'd love everyone to donate all of their time, energy, and money, and all of their food, but it doesn't happen like that. But Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans likes what we do because they get exposure. They get a check, and we work with them throughout the year, doing anything that we can to provide any more tickets or whatever it takes. And tickets are free when you can go to any I guess at North Shore Federal Credit Union here in Duluth and all the way up the shore, all the way to the Canadian border practically. They have 5 or 6 different outlets where you can pick up your tickets. And if you are a veteran and you don't have your tickets, you can show up without a ticket and they'll give you a ticket. They'll have a booth right at the front entryway and they will give you a ticket and your family a ticket to get in. It's do
Awesome.
not be afraid to come to our event and just show up. We want everybody to come and enjoy. Of course, those people, children up to 18 years of age are free of charge to get in. So, a $25 ticket for a husband and wife, $50. You're bringing 3 children with you. You're, for $50, you're having a blast. And then that's just getting in. And then, we keep our food costs down. We have the VIP tent where no food costs more than $2. When was the last time you bought a corn on the cob for $2 or a good hamburger for $2 or anything?
Anything.
We
Yeah.
have we try to do everything that we can to make this as simple as possible and keep the people as happy as we have 4 or 5 women who run the clothing tent, and none of them is less than 70 years old. And I have no idea why they love doing it, but every year they show up and it's just absolutely amazing. And these people, we have people who have been in the same location, let's say from a security standpoint or just an entry person, and they'll call up and say, "Hey, we want to do the same spot. Are you okay with that?" And I go, "Fantastic. Thank you so much." And so what we do is from the heart. I guess that's what you can say. We patted ourselves on the back the other day when we made our first really neat T-shirt and sweatshirt, and we now consider ourselves the Tribute Fest, the world's greatest tribute festival,
Awesome.
Duluth, Minnesota. Yes, and
Well, to
so
some things up here, Lou. So if you're a band and you want to kind of look at the potential of getting on the ticket next year, they should reach out to you or look through the website for the phone number, the email address, and reach out that way. What about vendors or companies that might want to sponsor? If you're a sponsor, do you go through the same path?
Yeah, same thing. We have our vendors. We don't charge a dime for vendors to be part of the event. And then again, I like your alien weaponry. It's alien. Lou, what are you doing? How do you run a successful business? We do not charge a dime for any of our vendors to be there. The vendors give us something when they're done. So if we have 2 days of rain and they don't make any money, they didn't have to pay us $500 to be there. They didn't have to pay us $1,000 to be there. They didn't pay us anything.
That's great.
That's just how we are. Yeah, it's all about everybody.
What if I was a business in either in Duluth or in the state of Minnesota and I just wanted to sponsor? What path would I go for that?
Well, next year we're starting a new program where you can sponsor a band. You can choose a band and we can decide whether or not we're going to have it. You can be any band you want. And you can sponsor that band and pay for it. And it'll be your band and you'll have your ID and logos on the big screen that's saying the rock gods are sponsored by so and so,
Cool.
Aspire or First Bank or something like that. But there's so many things that you can do as a sponsor for something like this. Anywhere from, hey, Lou, we'd like to donate some clothing for the veterans. It doesn't
So
have to
as
be.
a sponsor, Lou, how do I find out that information? Like where can I go to find more information?
Well, you can go to our website, thetributefest.com, and just remember it is thetributefest.com,
Okay.
and it's really a very simple that maybe we'll get somebody who will contact me and said, Lou, how can we build you a really great website instead of the one that you have? I, I'm a terrible person when it comes to websites and things like that. So I just put something out there, something like Wix or whatever, and we try and fill in what we can. And well, we could use a lot of help. There's no question about it. We think I the music is not going to get a whole lot better. The talent is not going to get a whole lot better than what we've had. It really isn't. There's some out there that want to charge $20,000 and they're going to pull in here and they do a heck of a show. But $20,000 is not going to cut it for the Tribute Fest, because the $20,000 is going to mean that we're $15,000 that we couldn't give to the veterans for
Sure.
Minnesota System Council for Veterans. So if someone wants to sponsor, we're happy campers. You got some product that you want to give to us. You got some advice you want to give to us. You offer us some help or volunteer, or you can do anything, and we'll be happy to take it. And we are a grateful group of people at the Tribute Fest. Mike and I, like I said, we've been around for 18 years doing this, and Mike's kind of a silent partner type guy. He doesn't like to say a lot, and then I keep taking the mic from him, so no one ever really got to hear him talk, unfortunately. But we have a good time. Time it goes rather quickly, and again, we're 8 days out or 10 days out from the Tribute Fest, and if you're interested in coming up to Duluth to see it, like I said, $25 for tickets, and we can get all the way up to $250, and which includes all your booze and some food. So, plus we have an amazing dinner on Sunday night or Saturday night. It is a smoked prime rib with baby red potatoes, just and a vegetable. I don't even remember what the vegetables are. The smoked prime rib, I personally hand cut it for everybody
Nice.
who comes there. I take the time. Of course, before that, I'm on the stage telling people that we have the smoked prime rib coming up in half an hour, but I have to clean the toilets first, so I'll be right over there. So we're running out of time here.
Oh, it's just yeah, I have my next guest coming in, but we're getting pretty close, so we can wrap
All right.
things up, Lou. But this has been fantastic. Thanks for taking some of your time to meet with me today and share more of the good story about the Tribute Fest. And we're going to get this episode. So we typically take a couple months to edit, but we're going to get this one out this week because I know your event is coming up real soon. And yeah, happy to hear the story and happy to help you promote this thing. And good luck with the Tribute Fest.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate that.